everyone, welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be doing book recommendations, so like if you liked this book you might also like this book. So I've got all the books behind me. These have been on my bookshelf for like 2 weeks waiting for me to film this video, so I'm glad I'm finally getting around to it, but it has taken a while. So I'm gonna just get into it. I might pull these out in the wrong order. I'm trusting my past self to put them in the right order, but we will see. So the first one is The Cruel Prince. Lots of people have read this book. I absolutely loved it. It was my first like proper enemies to lovers book. It was so good. I think it's amazing. The magic, everything was brilliant about this book, and I know lots of people have read it. So if you've read The Cruel Prince, you might also like Kingdom of the Wicked. This book is out. This is an ARC. I have also ordered the hardback copy, which isn't good, but I love the book. I love the book so much. It's enemies to lovers. There's magic. There's the devil. There's everything you could want. There's sisters. I mean, the sisters in here are interesting. It's not the greatest family, but the family bonds are really strong in this book, and it's such a great read. And you have the very Cardan and Jude dynamic between the main character and the love interest. It's just a bit more intense, and I loved it. So yeah, I really recommend reading Kingdom of the Wicked if you enjoyed The Cruel Prince. Next we have got, if you enjoyed Cinder, which is the first book in the Lunar Chronicles, I think you might also like To Kill a Kingdom. These are both retellings. They are both excellent. To Kill a Kingdom is a standalone, well this is in a series, so it's slightly different, but I kind of feel like they're for the same age. Sorry, there's a rainbow outside my window. That is very pretty. You can't see it, but I can, and it's really distracting me. Yeah, they're both retellings. I feel like they're good for the same age group. They're very, I feel like simple does it an injustice, but they are simple reads. You get through them quickly, they're easy to understand, and they're really well done. They take the original story and they make it something new, and they make it interesting. I was really impressed with both these books. I have reread this one twice. I've met the author, she's lovely, and they're just both really strong retellings that I think if you enjoyed one you would enjoy the other. Next we have Legend by Mari Lou. This is like a dystopian. You have the romance, you have the rising up against the government, and if you enjoyed this book like I did, you might, this is a sneaky little self-promo, like my book, One Wish, One Choice. This is literally my book. I mean, I was asking people after they finished this what other books they would recommend to people who enjoyed my book, and Legend came up the most. There's magic in my book, which there isn't in Legend, but it is very much rising up against a government, getting revenge, family, it's just, yeah. Although I think there's more swearing in my book. There's quite a lot of swearing and death. So if you like Legend, think about giving my book a try. That's it for my self-promo. I will not mention my book again in this video. If you enjoyed A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which I would be worried if you didn't enjoy A Curse So Dark and Lonely, because this book is amazing. I can't floor it. I absolutely loved it. So if you enjoyed this book, you might enjoy Everless. Now, I think there's so many books I could recommend if you like To Curse So Dark and Lonely, like Cinder and To Kill a Kingdom, because they're all retellings, but this is not actually retelling. I thought these two were quite similar in the way the kind of royalty and the castle and all that kind of stuff. So this is about you exchange your time for money, like the years of your life you use blood money. I read this like 2 years ago. I'm struggling to remember, but it was really good because it was like the rich live forever and the poor die quickly. It was really cool, and there's a castle and there's these like fairy tale story myths, which is kind of like A Curse So Dark and Lonely, and I really liked it. And both the protagonists, there we go, find themselves thrown into the world of royalty in castles and everything, and they're just not ready for it. So I think I'd recommend these two books to anyone who enjoyed one of them. And Everless, the second book isn't as good, but I really enjoyed the first book from what I can remember, so I should reread it soon. Next we have I'll grab them both because it's a long way to reach. Six of Crows. If you enjoyed Six of Crows, there are a few books I'd recommend, like Serpent and Dove kind of have the same, I don't know, feel, like Matthias and Nina relationship, but for the plot and just the character and the group and the premise, I would recommend Into the Crooked Place, which is by the same author who wrote To Kill a Kingdom. I think her books are brilliant. So yeah, Six of Crows is like my favourite book ever, but I'm going to be honest, it's quite hard to get into. I've read this 3 times. The first time was before I read the Grisha trilogy, and I was really lost. Like, it took ages to get going. It was a complicated story. It was really difficult. But I didn't find that with Into the Crooked Place. It has a very well structured and complex magic system, but it was explained quickly and it was simplified for the reader, and I really like that. So I feel like Into the Crooked Place is like a stepping stone into Six of Crows, and I mean, the characters are literally the same, I swear. There's a character who doesn't take off their gloves. They wear like leather gloves and they don't take them off. You have Kaz, you have Inej, like you have all of the characters pretty much, so they are very, very similar. I think this was like the 2 books that inspired this video, but I do recommend this book. It's very good, it's very well structured, the magic system is great, the characters are great because they're literally the same characters from Six of Crows, but yeah, I think this book should get more credit because it's a really good book. It's just kind of in Six of Crows' shadow. Okay, so next we have, if you've read The Fifth Wave, you will enjoy, I think, In the After. So they're a bit different. They both have aliens in. The Fifth Wave went a bit dodgy towards the end of the series, but the first book is a really solid alien apocalypse. I really enjoyed it. In the After was just perfect. Like, I can't floor it. It's a 2-book series, and both the books were equally as amazing. Like, really, really recommend it. No one's read it, and more people should, because it's my favourite apocalypse book. The aliens are genuinely terrifying. It's very like the Quiet Place. Like, if the aliens hear you, they'll kill you, which is kind of awesome. I absolutely love this book, and I'm going to be rereading it next year. It's such a solid book. It's just so good. So if you like The Fifth Wave, that's upside down. If you like The Fifth Wave, I think you would enjoy In the After. And if you didn't like The Fifth Wave, I think you'd also like In the After, because it's just such a good book. Next we have either of these. They're both as popular as each other. If you liked Me Before You or All the Right Places, you'll like the other one, because there's heartbreak, there's romance, there is just beautiful writing, and just everything you could want. This one has more dialogue, more interesting dialogue that made me laugh, and just really relatable characters, and this was more like a teenage romance kind of thing, and it was both of them tackle some really difficult topics, and I really appreciated that, and the way it was done and the research put into it. But they were both very difficult reads, but they were also so beautiful, and I really do recommend them, and they both made me like cry my eyes out. So, you know, we've got my pile of books on my bed has just fallen down. I knew it was going to happen at some point because it was just getting higher and higher. Lastly, we have Lost Boy, which is a dark retelling of Peter Pan, which is such a terrifying book. It has completely reshaped the way I view Peter Pan. I now view him as a psychopath because he is in this book. It's such an amazing book. But if you like this, I'm not going to put it up on here because I'm too lazy. You will like Hood's Bow. It's a self-published book, and it's incredible. It's so good. It's a Robin Hood retelling, so it kind of fits the theme, but it's dark, it's just absolutely gory. There is so much gore, there is so much violence, and I love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, I really, really recommend both these books. Hood's Bow is its name. Again, go read it. It's amazing. There are many trigger warnings. It's not an easy read. It left me quite uncomfortable, but in a way that I was drawn into the writing, not like I need to put this down. There was a few times I had to put it down to like just take a breath and be like, okay, that was intense, but the writing was just so good, and the way the story kind of overlapped was just, because Lost Boys like a Captain Hook prequel, like backstory kind of thing, but Hood's Bow is just, it's so good, it's so good. So that's it. If you have read any of these books, I would love to know your thoughts. If you have any books that you would recommend that I've read that would then lead on to another book, I would also love to hear that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and that you could maybe find some good books to read through it.